Let's talk about strip light, but not just any strip light, particularly the one made by SMDV. This is SMDV Flip 30 by 90. It is one of their smaller strip light and is really awesome because what I can do is this. Let's find out what I think about this strip light. This is ArtIsRight. Before we start, subscribe if you're new and hit on the bell icon so you'll be notified every time I upload cool new videos like this. Full disclosure, SMDV sent me this to do review. All the opinions are my own. In the US, SMDV Softbox being sold by Spring Distribution. I'll leave a link to their website in the description if you want to check them out. And if you haven't yet, I highly encourage that you do so because I genuinely believe in their product. Now, where I stand with their product is this. I have purchased numerous of their softbox used in my studio before they even sent me any products to do a review. But when they launched this new strip light and they asked me to review it, I said yes, absolutely, because I am looking for something like this and I have yet to find anything that can be deployed this quickly in the strip light form, the way how they have done it, and this is really cool. So pretty much this is how you collapse this. I would just put my thumb there and move the latch up. And just like that, I collapse this light. Now you can do it one hand like me because it looks cool, or you can also use two hands. You can collapse it slower if you want to. And when you're ready to set it up again, you simply just bring them apart a little bit and just snap them together just like that. The way how they built these mechanisms are really strong. In fact, I can testify to that because I have their SMDV Flip 44-inch. It is their large octabox that I use in the studio, and I take these down after I'm done with the shoot. I set them up, I take them on location. They work just fine without any issues whatsoever. And the mechanism itself, where they have this whole flip mechanism going on, is all built out of metal. The top part itself, what you see here, this is built out of plastic, but these are really strong plastic that over the long-term use of it, there are no fractures, no breakages whatsoever. So they built their product really well. Now, the other thing I like about their softbox in general is the fact that these are universal softbox. So because my light may use one mount right now, and because I use a lot of Godox, I'm using the Bowen mount. But let's say I want to just go to another different mount altogether in the future. Am I locked into the Bowen mount? Well, not quite, because I can just simply push this up, open this, and these are universal adapters that can adapt to pretty much all the brands of lighting out there that you use. Profoto, you name it, Hensel. I mean, all of them will work with this pretty much adapter. So what you do, if you change a light brand down the road, just go to their website, buy more of these, replace the one that you have in your light, and boom, just like that, you're ready to go using your same light modifier with a different lighting brand. And that's the really cool thing about it. So here it is, SMDV softbox that is a strip light. Now this, I believe, is their smallest size. They also come in larger size as well that you can get, and I'll probably be adding larger size into my studio, so I'll probably be buying those. But what's really neat about this, and I like to use this on location because of a couple of things. Let me mount this to my LED light and I'll do a demonstration. So the cool thing about this light in general is that you have this strip light and it's flaring the camera right now. So let me turn this off briefly and show you what's on the inside for those of you that are curious. Everything comes apart on this one. So you can take the diffusion panel out if you don't want to use a diffusion panel. The other thing is that there is an inner diffusion layer as well. And the way how they designed this is really neat because usually when it comes to strip light like this, you will have a much brighter light in the center. And when you get to the edges, it's not going to be as bright anymore. So you have like a hot spot in the center. The way how they design around this issue is they have this diffusion layer, one. And not only that, there is an extra layer of diffusion. You see where my hand's going in right there, in the front, in the center of the lights. This way, the light will even itself out even further. These just link up together via hooks in the back that you see there. And that's pretty much it. So you can use it without the diffusion in front, you can use it with the diffusion in front. And the other thing that I really like to use it with, and this is an extra add-on accessory I believe, is the egg crate or the grid. And I highly recommend getting the grid because the grid's going to do a lot of really great things, especially if you're using this as an edge light the way how I am going to use it. So I like to use these. This is smaller, and the reason why I got the smaller ones because I like to put this on a boom with a small strobe on the back of my subject. This way I have a hair light and also a shoulder light separating my subject from the background. I love to use edge light in general because it adds a lot of depth into the portrait that I'm photographing in the studio, or even just adding edge light to any object you're photographing, you help separate that object from the background even further. And that's something that I really love to do. So let me turn this on. And where it is right now without the grid, even though this is not pointing directly at the camera, you still see some flare. I can turn this away a little bit more. That reduces it. But if I stand here, you can see that there is an edge light on me. Obviously, this is a little bit too small for my size. I would generally want something a little bit larger if you're going to do this as a body edge light on someone. The other thing that you can do, I'll show you this in a moment, you can move this up and angle it a little bit, which is going to help. But before I do any of those, because there is still some flare on the camera lens, what I like to do is apply the grid to this light, and you will see right away. In fact, I'll turn this towards the camera a little bit more. You see that there's some flare around this area right now. And I'll just add this grid in. And the way how they design the grid is particularly to this light, because this is cut at an angle right there so that it just slides in to the Velcro. And you just Velcro everything on like so. And you can see that you're no longer seeing any of the flare coming into the lens. And that's part of the reason why you might want to consider getting a grid, especially if you want to use this light. Light coming in from the side is good. I'll step forward a little bit. You can see I have a little bit of edge light on my shoulder there, but it's not really on my head. So we're going to do a couple of things. What I'm going to do is angle the lighting down just a touch more. And I'm going to bring this up fairly high like so. Angle this just a touch. Now we can see that I have an edge light on my hair and also my shoulder, and a little bit onto like my elbow as well. Now I can always angle this down a little bit more if I want the light to spread down just a touch further, as you see there. Like I said, this is really help separating the subject from the background. And a lot of times I might not use something like this when I'm doing video because I need to set this really way off camera and I'm a little bit limited on the space in the studio. But when I'm doing a portrait session, when I'm doing a headshot session, these are tools that are pretty much indispensable for me and is something that I will always have on location at a shoot. So yeah, like I said, this is SMDV Flip 30 by 90. I believe that is in centimeters. So this is like about a foot by like 3 foot or so light box. And ooh, I forgot to turn off that light there. There we go. Let's make sure we don't flare and blind us. And when I'm done with the shoot, like I said, what I always love about their product is just simply this. Collapse. You can even do that with the egg crate just in there if you don't want to take it out, if you're using it like that all the time. Wrap this up. Store this back in the case that it comes with, and you're pretty much good to go. Now, I also want to share with you one big anecdote as well, because recently I have been on a portrait session that we plan to arrive there ahead of time with ample time to set up, about an hour and a half or so, just so that we can play with the lighting a little bit more. When we got there, well, pretty much there was a table, a desk right where we were really supposed to shoot. So the next 15-20 minutes was really planning logistic on how we're going to move the table. Can we get the team from the place that we're at to help us move the table and so forth. So our setup time got shortened out by quite a bit, and we were still able to get set up in time because all of my lighting that I use on location now are SMDV Flip. Setting it up is just like that. We were able to test right away. Now, that didn't give us enough time to try out different backdrop that we want to try, but it did give us the ability to set up and work much faster and set up trying to put the prongs together right then and there. That's going to take time. And you may say, well, yeah, you can set up a softbox ahead of time on location while you're waiting for a table to move. Like, yes, but we're also limited on the amount of space as well, the way that we can move around in there. So just a little side anecdote. Anyway, if you have any questions or comment, leave them below. Give this a like, subscribe, and hit on the bell if you're new, and in Art We Trust.